you for letting me observe your observation coming up. This is a pre-observation conference, and we've taken some time ahead of time. You've taken some time to think through some of these questions and to respond with how you see things to go. How we'd like it to be as well is if there's certain questions I have, just to ask you to kind of make sure I'm clear, and hopefully if you want to make minor changes, then you can do that prior to the observation. So,
okay, sweet.
I'm going to take notes on this as well as we go. So with that being said, let's start with number one. You're going to do Spanish 2. Obviously, you're teaching Spanish 2. It'd be block 6.
Yes.
Which observation is for. Can you briefly describe the students in the class, including those with special needs, 504 plans? How have you adapted your lesson to be culturally proficient with your students?
Okay, so my block 6, just to talk about their attitude and their kind of meshing as a whole. They get along well with each other. They like to mess around a lot with each other, but it's all in good fun for most of them.
Okay.
I have 3 students. Well, yeah, I have 3 students that have 504 plans and IEP plans, and like I said, 2 of them are pretty intense plans that require a lot more attention to detail on my part than like a traditional 504 IEP. Just make sure I'm doing these certain things in class to accommodate them, but there's something I need to be doing constantly with these students. But I'm always glad to do anything that they need from me to help them do what they're supposed to be doing to stay on track with their educational plan. And so, other than that, like I like to make my lessons so if it's easier on one student, then it's probably going to be easier on all the students in that way. So chunking out difficult like grammatical concepts, things that take time. I like to chunk out a lot of things. I repeat things many times without getting too upset about it unless it's something menial. But repetition, breaking things down in a simple manner, giving extra time for things, I think that all lines up with what we should be doing anyway in our building. As far as, where am I here? As far as cultural proficiency, I don't like plan it into my daily lesson. This is how I'm going to be culturally proficient today. It's more of a, where is it here? I wrote some, oh, here. I don't put it in my daily lesson plans, but I try to create like a safe environment and make students feel comfortable in my room. I have really high expectations for all of them. Because when I challenge them, they usually respond. I feel like many students don't feel like they're challenged all the time, and so when I give them something to go for and I get pumped up about it, it includes all the students. They want to know, they want to learn, they want to be able to be successful in every learning target or learning goal or what the idea is for the day. So a lot of times, just kids have all kinds of needs, and my answer is that's okay, or I have this thing going, they'll come to me panicked, and that's okay, just let me know, or like it's always about being communicative with them and really open, and I think that makes a lot of kids comfortable with me not getting mad at them for little things, whether or not they can help it.
Same teenagers.
So that's kind of how I view being culturally proficient.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. What are the goals for the lesson, and what do you expect your students to learn?
Okay, so our learning goals in Spanish with our curriculum change has come to be, for Spanish 1 and 2, it's pretty much the same goal as that they can communicate in the target language, which is Spanish, by using simple sentences and simple expressions via writing or oral communication. And the learning goals stay the same, and our learning scales are the same unit by unit, and what changes is the vocabulary and the grammar piece that they're learning about. So it's all about engaging them in speaking and writing usually. Listening and reading is a part of it, but that's not as higher order thinking when it comes to trying to design tasks for them that challenge them to use more critical thinking skills. So the reading and the listening pieces are important, but the goal is always to get them to get the output via writing or speaking. And so this particular learning target for the day is to get them to speak or write, verbal or written communication, about a educational or a career goal, because the unit is education and career goals, education communities. which has a lot of vocabulary about professions and coursework in college, or how to say the word college, or how to state your goals.
Yeah.
And then the grammar piece is what we call the simple future, which just allows them to say, I'm going to do this. And so their the learning goal is always the same, but the target for the day specifically is just to have them be able to communicate what they're going to do in terms of education or career. Just a couple simple statements.
That's kind of the backdrop to bring
Yep.
context and authenticity to it.
Yes.
But you're using the skills, obviously, of
Yes.
Future tense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not future. Is that correct?
It's simple
Yes.
future tense.
Simple future,
so
yeah,
I'm
correct.
going to do something versus I will do something,
Yeah.
which is a whole other grammatical animal. And so we're starting
Right.
them off at a simple way
Sure.
to say you're going to do something.
Got it.
And so the specific tasks that I have created to get them
Mm-hmm.
to the learning target is I have a slideshow they read. It's called the entrada. They sit and they look at the slide and they answer the questions with each other. And I monitor them, and then I go around and I ask them the questions on the slide, and they have to respond to me. Also, we're going to review a writing practice. So some of those things that they have to write, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We worked on a writing practice last class that we are going to review it together as a class.
Okay, sure.
And then we are also going to, in this lesson, I have a retake opportunity for
Yeah.
students who didn't meet the, it's kind of going to be a bigger piece than I originally wanted it to, but our PLC decided that some of the learning targets from last unit weren't met, and we might have to take a short day to catch those
Right.
students up. And so all the students are expected to participate in the entrance activity and the writing review because they need to continually get that learning
Sure.
that we're still working on.
Yeah.
But then we do kind of have to back up a little, and I've created different sections of the CFA that they took, the pieces that they have to retake. And it's not just going to be, oh, study this and then retake. Like I've created activities that if they had to retake a certain part of the CFA, they can complete the activity first before they retake it. Because it doesn't do me any good to be like, just study the thing that you didn't do well on. So obviously your own study habits didn't work. But I've given them a different activity to go through to see if I can get them to think about it a different way or remember what they need.
Different activity.
Same skill, different activity. To see if they can review it or get through the activity solo or with a partner who might need to retake, and then they'll retake and see if they can't get
their portion of
the learning target. Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's good.
So I have them divided out by who needs to retake what section.
Responding essentially to their needs as a teacher then, essentially. Yeah.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
Great.
So that's also built into the lesson, which is kind of a lofty goal, but I gotta try.
Yeah.
I gotta get my kids that
That's
have
right,
the
sure.
last unit haven't hit the target. I have to get them there somehow. So.